Tamar Braxton has finally broken her silence, and what she's revealed about the abuse, betrayal, and silence within the Braxton family has left everyone in shock. But instead of standing with her, it seems her own family has turned their backs on her. Why would the Braxton sisters abandon Tamar at a time when she's trying to protect her own niece, Ashley? The truth behind this family fallout is darker, more emotional, and far more complicated than anyone expected. The Braxton family has long been one of the most talked about families in entertainment. Known for their reality show, musical talent, and strong personalities, the Braxton sisters have shared both their triumphs and heartbreaks with the public. But now, things have taken a devastating turn. Tamar Braxton, once the outspoken yet beloved sister of the group, has come forward with emotional claims about abuse, silence, and betrayal within the family. What started as a private cry for help has now become a very public family war. Tamar insists she's speaking out not for attention, but for justice, and to protect her niece Ashley, who she claims needed help. Yet instead of receiving support, Tamar has found herself isolated. Her family, the same people who once stood by her, now seem to be distancing themselves. The situation has left fans divided and the entertainment world stunned. From Tamar's emotional confessions to the Braxton family's cold response, this story has exposed deep cracks within one of entertainment's most famous families. To understand how things spiraled into the heartbreaking situation Tamar faces today, we have to go back to where it all began. The Braxtons have never been strangers to public drama. But behind the cameras and fame, their relationships have always been filled with both love and tension. Tamar, known for her fiery personality and honesty, has often been labeled the outspoken one, the sister who refuses to stay silent, even when it costs her. For years, fans have watched the Braxtons navigate fame, loss, and conflict. From their hit reality show Braxton Family Values to public feuds that spilled onto social media, the sisters always tried to present a united front, no matter how complicated things became behind the scenes. But according to sources close to Tamar, the shift began long before the current controversy. Tamar has been open about her struggles with mental health, her challenging relationships, and the emotional scars left behind by fame and family pressure. Over time, she began distancing herself from the constant drama, focusing on healing and protecting her peace. But that peace was shattered when she reportedly witnessed something involving her niece Ashley, something she could not stay quiet about. Insiders claim Tamar confronted a family member about behavior she felt crossed a serious line. Out of respect for her family, she didn't initially name names or share details publicly. But her emotional posts hinted at something much deeper, an act of abuse or neglect she couldn't ignore. She implied that she tried to handle the matter privately, but instead of being met with understanding, she was met with silence and resistance. And that's when everything began to unravel. Tamar, who has always been an advocate for protecting women and children, suddenly found herself in an impossible position: speak up and risk being labeled dramatic or divisive, or stay silent and live with the guilt of not protecting someone she loves. In a world where image and reputation mean everything, her decision to speak out came with painful consequences. Family insiders revealed that after Tamar began expressing her concerns, communication with her sisters started to break down. Calls went unanswered, group chats went silent, and invitations to family gatherings reportedly stopped coming. What had once been a close-knit family now felt fractured, divided by secrets, fear, and silence. What makes this even more heartbreaking is how misunderstood Tamar's intentions have been. While fans praised her courage and transparency, some family members allegedly accused her of airing private matters and bringing unwanted attention to the family. For Tamar, this wasn't about publicity or revenge. It was about doing what she felt was right. Now, Tamar Braxton stands alone, caught between truth and loyalty, between justice and family. Whether the Braxtons can heal from this public fallout remains to be seen. But one thing is clear: Tamar's voice has reignited a conversation about what happens when speaking the truth means losing the people you love the most. Tamar Braxton felt betrayed, hurt, and misunderstood. She realized that the very people she expected to stand by her were turning their backs instead. But here's the shocking part they don't want you to know. According to one source close to the family, Tamar's outburst wasn't just about a single incident. It was the culmination of years of emotional neglect and unresolved trauma. Speaking up for Ashley was simply the final straw that pushed everything into the open. When Tamar finally decided to break her silence, it wasn't during a press conference or a carefully managed interview. It was raw, emotional, and unfiltered. She took to social media, the same platform where she's always been transparent about her struggles. But this time, her words carried an intensity that instantly caught everyone's attention. Fans who had followed Tamar for years could tell this moment was different. Her tone wasn't about entertainment or drama, it was about truth and protection. Tamar began by posting a series of messages hinting that she had witnessed behavior she couldn't ignore. Without naming anyone directly, she expressed that her heart was heavy and that she could no longer remain complicit in silence. In one post, she wrote, "Sometimes you have to lose everything to protect what's right." Those words sent shockwaves through the internet. Speculation ran wild.
Who was she talking about?
What had really happened? What followed was even more powerful. Tamar revealed that the issue centered around her niece, Ashley. She described Ashley as a bright light, someone she deeply loved, and hinted that her niece had been mistreated in ways no child should ever experience. Tamar explained that she had tried to handle the matter privately but was met with resistance and silence from her family. Her post suggested that, instead of showing concern or seeking truth, some of her siblings chose to protect reputations rather than protect their own. The reaction was immediate and explosive. Within hours, hashtags like #StandWithTamar and #ProtectAshley began trending across multiple platforms. Fans rallied behind her, praising her courage for speaking out even when it meant going against her famous family. Others urged caution, saying the full story had yet to be revealed. But regardless of opinion, one thing was certain. Tamar's confession had exposed deep fractures within the Braxton family, and the world was watching. Tamar's transparency struck a chord because she had always been seen as the sister who wore her heart on her sleeve. Viewers of Braxton family values had seen her laugh, cry, argue, and forgive, sometimes all in the same episode. But this time felt heavier, more personal, and far more serious. In one of her follow-up posts, Tamar wrote that she had nothing left to lose except her peace, and that protecting Ashley mattered more than protecting an image. Her words revealed a woman who had endured years of pressure to stay quiet, to keep things in the family. But now, she was choosing her conscience over loyalty. The backlash came swiftly. Reports surfaced that some of the Braxton sisters felt blindsided, claiming Tamar exaggerated the situation or twisted details. Others allegedly believed she should have handled the matter privately rather than airing it publicly. According to one insider, this wasn't the first time Tamar had been silenced by her sisters, but it was the first time she refused to comply. And here's the part many fans didn't know. Tamar's confession didn't just expose new issues, it reopened old wounds. Family members reportedly revisited past disagreements, unresolved arguments, and years of hidden resentment. Emotional scars resurfaced, making reconciliation seem almost impossible. Still, Tamar didn't back down. In one emotional video, she explained that speaking out wasn't about revenge or drama, it was about protection. She said that if she stayed silent, she wouldn't be able to live with herself knowing she had failed someone she loved. For Tamar, this moment wasn't just a breaking point, it was a turning point. She chose truth over silence, even if it meant standing alone. That statement changed everything. In a single moment, the narrative surrounding Tamar Braxton completely shifted. Many fans began to see her not as the problematic sister so often portrayed by the media, but as a woman trying to do the right thing under enormous pressure. But here's the twist no one saw coming. After Tamar's emotional confession, several people close to the Braxton family began to speak out. Some, choosing to remain anonymous, supported her claims, saying they had witnessed tension and inappropriate behavior that had been swept under the rug for years. Others, however, defended the Braxton family, insisting Tamar was misinterpreting events and letting her emotions cloud her judgment. This divide ignited a full-blown media storm. Every headline, tweet, and podcast seemed to add more fuel to the fire. Fans demanded answers, but the Braxton sisters maintained an eerie silence. No official statements were released, and their social media pages went quiet. For a family known for being outspoken and highly visible, their silence spoke louder than words. It was as if the entire family had gone underground, leaving Tamar to face the fallout alone. When Tamar first spoke out, the entire internet waited for one thing: her family's response. For a family as publicly close-knit as the Braxtons, silence was the loudest statement of all. Days passed, then weeks, and still nothing. No tweets. No Instagram posts. No clarifications. Fans began noticing the unsettling quiet from Tony, Tawanda, and Trina. For a group of sisters who had always been vocal both on and off camera, their silence felt deliberate. At first, people assumed they were taking time to process what had happened. But as time went on, it became clear that the family was intentionally distancing themselves from Tamar. What was once a sisterhood built on shared fame and mutual support had now fractured beyond recognition. Fans started noticing subtle but telling signs. The Braxton sisters stopped liking Tamar's posts, stopped mentioning her in interviews, and began attending public events without her. These small actions sent a clear message. Something was deeply wrong. Insiders close to the family claimed that behind the scenes, tension had reached a breaking point. According to one source, there were heated phone calls, emotional text exchanges, and personal arguments that cut deeper than ever before. Some family members reportedly accused Tamar of making the family look bad, while others privately admitted they didn't know how to defend her without getting caught in the crossfire, and yet, the silence continued. For Tamar, that silence felt like betrayal. She had risked her career, reputation, and peace of mind to speak up, believing her family would at least hear her out. Instead, she found herself isolated, battling public scrutiny and deep emotional pain. In a now-deleted post, Tamar shared a hauntingly simple message: "It hurts the most when it's your own blood." Those 8 words told the world everything it needed to know. The most shocking moment came when Toni Braxton, the eldest sister and often seen as the family matriarch, appeared at a charity event in Los Angeles. When reporters asked about Tamar's claims, Toni didn't defend her or address the issue directly. Instead, she calmly said, "I love my family, and I'm praying for peace." That short, neutral response set the internet on fire. Many fans felt Toni was avoiding accountability, while others believed she was trying to keep private matters within the family. Either way, the damage was done. Soon after, both Trina and Tawanda made their own subtle moves. During a podcast appearance, Trina remarked that she believed in handling family business privately. Tawanda then reposted a cryptic quote that read, "Just because someone tells their story doesn't mean they're telling the truth." Fans immediately interpreted both actions as shade directed toward Tamar. Social media quickly became a battlefield. It was Team Tamar versus Team Braxton. What had once been a beloved, faith-driven family was now being torn apart in the public eye. Even more heartbreaking was how Tamar's relationship with her niece, Ashley, reportedly changed. Multiple reports claimed that Ashley had been caught in the middle of the chaos. Some family members allegedly restricted contact between Tamar and her niece, citing concerns for Ashley's emotional well-being. But Tamar's fans believed it was retaliation, that she was being punished for speaking up in the first place. As the story grew, old family footage began resurfacing online. Clips from Braxton family values, especially scenes showing arguments between Tamar and her sisters, went viral again. Viewers dissected every frame, searching for hidden clues or signs of the tension that had clearly existed for years. Some fans pointed out that Tamar had often been portrayed as the difficult one, while others argued she had been unfairly scapegoated. What once looked like typical reality TV drama now seemed like a reflection of real emotional wounds that had never healed. Meanwhile, Tamar continued to express her emotions online. Her posts grew rawer, more painful, and more honest. In one live session, she said, "You can love people with all your heart and still be abandoned by them." The moment was heartbreaking. She was visibly emotional, struggling to hold back tears as she described how deeply the betrayal had hurt her. Her followers flooded the comments with love and encouragement, reminding her she wasn't alone. But even with all the public support, it was clear that no amount of fan love could replace the pain of losing her sister's trust. At the same time, entertainment blogs and gossip outlets seized the opportunity, publishing speculative stories about what really caused the rift. Some claimed the tension had roots in jealousy and competition over career success and public image. Others suggested Tamar's decision to expose private family matters shattered the carefully curated Braxton brand. Regardless of the reason, one truth became undeniable. The Braxton family, once celebrated for their unity, faith, and sisterhood, was now publicly divided. Tamar, for her part, seemed to recognize that she had crossed a point of no return. In one heartfelt post, she wrote, "If doing what's right makes me the enemy, then I'll gladly stand alone." The message went viral within hours, becoming a rallying cry for anyone who had ever spoken out and been punished for telling the truth. But the story wasn't over. While Tamar was fighting for truth and healing, her family's quiet retaliation appeared to be growing behind the scenes. Subtle unfollows, cryptic messages, and whispered conversations began painting a picture of emotional warfare, one that would soon spill even further into public view. When Tamar Braxton decided to speak up, she didn't just open the door to her own pain, she opened the floodgates to long-buried secrets within the Braxton family. Behind the glitz, reality show cameras, and sisterly harmonies, there had always been a quiet storm brewing, one built on unspoken resentment, power struggles, and emotional wounds that never fully healed. According to those close to the family, Tamar's courage to speak out about alleged abuse and emotional neglect didn't just challenge her sisters, it forced everyone in the Braxton circle to confront their own truths. Suddenly, everything that had once been whispered in private began surfacing in public. People who had stayed silent for years started hinting at their own experiences, while family friends began confirming that the tension among the Braxton sisters had been going on far longer than fans ever realized. Some insiders pointed back to the early days of Braxton family values, when the cameras first began capturing the sisters' dynamic. Even then, there were signs that something was off. Tamar's outspoken personality often clashed with Tony's calm, composed demeanor. Tawanda's sense of responsibility sometimes came across as judgmental, and Trina's efforts to mediate often fell short. What audiences believed were scripted arguments were, in many cases, raw and real emotional confrontations that revealed years of pent-up frustration and pain. Behind closed doors, things reportedly grew even more complicated. There were disagreements about money, career opportunities, and who truly represented the Braxton brand. Some family members allegedly felt overshadowed by others' success, while others believed they weren't given the respect they deserved. It was a fragile ecosystem built on love, talent, and pride, and Tamar's decision to speak out became the moment it all began to crumble. But Tamar's message was never just about one incident of abuse or mistreatment. It was about the culture of silence that had lingered within her family for generations. She spoke about being told to stay quiet for the sake of the family's image, about being warned not to make the family look bad, and about how emotional wounds were often buried rather than healed. Her words struck a deep chord with fans who recognized that pattern. The way families often choose reputation over protection, silence over truth. In one powerful interview, Tamar said something that stopped everyone in their tracks. "You can't heal what you refuse to confront." That statement became a spark that ignited deeper conversations throughout the entertainment world. It wasn't just about her family anymore, it was about what happens when women, especially in the Black entertainment community, are told to stay silent in the name of unity, but with that truth came backlash. Some within the Braxton circle reportedly accused Tamar of sharing private family business for public sympathy. Others claimed her words exaggerated what really happened. Still, the emotional impact of her honesty was undeniable. Her vulnerability peeled back layers of pain that the world had never seen before. Fans began revisiting old interviews and clips from Braxton family values, seeing them in a completely new light. The subtle eye rolls, the awkward silences, and the moments when Tamar's voice was ignored or dismissed. Suddenly, people realized those weren't just dramatic edits for TV. They were glimpses of a woman struggling to be heard in a family that didn't always listen. Then came the real shocker. Reports surfaced that other members of the extended Braxton family, including distant relatives and longtime family friends, had also started sharing their own stories of feeling silenced or ignored. One insider put it plainly: Tamar's truth made people uncomfortable because it forced them to look at their own part in it. It's easier to call someone dramatic than to admit you hurt them. Even fans began connecting the dots. Many recalled Tamar's emotional exit from Braxton family values, where she tearfully expressed feeling like the family scapegoat. At the time, audiences thought it was just another dramatic reality TV moment, but now it seemed like foreshadowing for everything that was happening. Tamar had been asking for understanding all along, and now, the world finally saw what she meant. Still, not everyone in the family remained silent. In what appeared to be subtle shade, some of Tamar's sisters began posting cryptic messages about keeping family business private and not everyone deserves your truth. None of the posts mentioned Tamar by name, but the timing was impossible to ignore. Social media lit up with speculation. Fans dissected every emoji, caption, and song lyric the sisters posted, trying to read between the lines. It became clear that this family feud wasn't fading anytime soon. Yet, amid all the chaos, something powerful began to happen. Tamar's transparency started inspiring others. Women across social media began sharing their own stories of emotional pain and family betrayal, tagging Tamar in their posts and thanking her for giving them the courage to speak up. What began as a painful family controversy was slowly transforming into a movement, one about breaking cycles of silence, standing up against emotional abuse, and reclaiming the power of truth.